happy Tuesday. I hope you all had a nice bank holiday weekend. And now we're back to it. So today I'm joined with the lovely Tim Seymour. And for anybody who doesn't know Tim, which I'm sure the vast majority of people do at this point, Tim is in the UK running the Profit First. And I'm pretty sure, again, most of my audience have heard of Profit First because all I ever do is talk about the books that I read, and Profit First is very high up on the list. However, I'm going to let Tim introduce himself to you. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Tim. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thanks, Rebecca. It's lovely to be on here today. So I'm Tim Seymour. I'm a joint owner of Profit First Professionals in the UK, which means myself and my business partner, Duncan Lloyd, own the license for Profit First in the UK. So we're partners to Mike Michalowicz and Ron Sarayham.
And so me and Tim have met a few times now. I think maybe 2 or 3 times in person. Yeah. Most recently at Milton Keynes in, I want to say it was November or October last year. October, yeah, which was interesting. That was my first time at Milton Keynes. I didn't realise how many roundabouts there were.
I'd never been there before either, don't worry. It was an experience, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a really good day. That was at the Zero HQ. Yeah. And there was, Mike was there. Chris was there as well, wasn't he? Chris Ducker. Again, I've got his book. Definitely worth another read.
We had Amanda Watts there as well. We had a surprise guest, which happened to be Daniel Priestley, turn up as well.
Yeah,
which nobody knew about. So that was really good. We did really well to keep that hidden from everyone.
Yeah, that was the scorecard, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
I've actually started implementing that in my own business for surveys, and also going about another way at year end, or with self-assessments. We're now providing checklists through there. Oh, that's the aim. We're not quite there yet, but it was a really interesting day. So thank you for the invite.
No problem. Well, there's going to be another one on Monday, the 9th of September, if you want to put that in your diary. So this is going to be it's called Profit Con Europe. Please don't get put off by the word con. It actually is short for conference. I don't necessarily like the terminology, but we have to use it. Mike's coming over again, and he's going to be coming to us for Profit Con UK. Then he's going to Profit Con Netherlands, then Profit Con Deutschland. So for a week, he's over here and he's going to all 3 European licensees. But we're first up. We're on Monday, the 9th of September. So there's a date for everyone's diary that's watching this. If you want to come along and meet some fantastic guests again, there's going to be a few more surprises, and we're trying to raise the bar even higher. But we'll see. Everything's being planned. So we're looking forward to another great event in September. That'll be somewhere in London this time.
Oh, wow. That'd be really nice.
Yeah.
So I think I've asked you this question before, but how did you get into Profit First? Like, what was I know previously you'd worked in practice.
Yes.
So what made you sort of navigate towards Profit First? What was it that sort of piqued your interest initially?
All the mistakes I'd made in my business up until that point had compounded, and I was in a situation where I knew I had to change what I was doing, but I just didn't know what. I was serving the wrong types of clients. I wasn't charging enough. I was doing all the classic things, working long hours, not earning enough money. All the classic things that if you read Profit First, I was that guy that was running the business completely wrong. And I'm not ashamed to admit that, because we all have to learn. It's a journey that we're all on when we start up in business, isn't it? Especially for accountants and bookkeepers, because we forget to be a business owner at the beginning. What's great at the moment is everybody gets opportunity to lots of different places now where they can learn stuff before they get into such a hole that perhaps I got myself into. So I knew I needed to change. I just didn't know how or what. And a client of mine who I met for a coffee just asked me casually, had I heard of Profit First? It was a book. And I said, no. So he said, I reckon you'd like it. So went back to my office, onto Amazon, ordered the book. As you can see it just behind. I've got more copies, obviously. 2 chapters in, and kind of the light bulb just went off in my head. This is what I've been looking for. I don't know why, it just triggered with me. I was that business owner that was working long hours and earning not enough money. So yeah, it just triggered with me. And so I literally went online and booked a meeting straight away, paid a deposit, because when you go through home base in the US, you have to pay a deposit just to get a call.
Yeah.
Had the call and joined literally there and then.
Oh, wow.
I was so impressed. I mean, I was lucky to get invited to join on the call, because that didn't happen all the time. But I was lucky enough to get invited to join. I joined, and I never looked back from that moment on. And people sometimes look at me a bit questioningly when I say that, but actually it's a few stages on from there, and I look back, that was that pivotal moment, that decision I made at that point in time changed everything for me.
Do you know that I remember I picked up Profit First like years ago, way before I met Deb, because we're both massive bookworms, and that's one of the things that we share in common. We're always exchanging book titles, and I remember I'd read, I think I'd read the paperback back then, and then one weekend, I don't know what I was doing, about a year and a half ago, maybe 18 months ago, and it was over a weekend, and I thought, oh, I don't know where that book's gone. Oh, I'll get it on Audible. And I was cleaning up around the house, and I'm listening to this book. And I remember my partner saying to me, what are you listening to? Because the entire time I'm like, yeah, oh God, that makes so much sense. Oh, why have I not thought about that before? Or I've gone back to my old ways of not looking at it this way. And I remember actually, and I did this again in Milton Keynes when Mike started talking about his story. So Mike, just to clarify to the audience, is the author of the Profit First books. And there's a particular scene with his daughter, which I won't spoil, that got me all teary-eyed, and it got me teary-eyed in person, and I was like, don't cry. And I remember sitting down with the Audible book and just literally just like streaming, thinking like, it's not only is this book relatable, and it's not just relatable for business owners, it's also relatable if you are just running the house finances as well. And like just so much of it. My grandparents always had money aside, for a rainy day, and there's little pots for little things. And I didn't scoff at it, but I thought, that's your generation. That's your thing. Things have changed. It doesn't work anymore. And when I was reading that book the first time, I think I was incredibly humbled by how you can put that into place nowadays and make it work for you and make it work for your business. And yeah, the number of lessons learned, from my perspective anyway, personally, that I've put into place since reading the book and talking to Deb and all the rest of it is incredible. So then with the Profit First, and how is that working in the UK? Because obviously, Mike's overseas, and from your perspective, you've got a partner though, haven't you?
Yeah, Duncan Lloyd. So two of us jointly own the license, so we're joint business partners. The great thing from our point of view is Duncan still runs his accountancy practice, and he's absolutely smashing it with his clients and utilizing Profit First strategies. So it's great when we're on group calls with our members. I can ask Duncan a question about what he's doing, he can answer, and everybody can hear what's working, what's not working. And for myself, I built my business up after I changed it around after joining Profit First Professionals. I was able to fortunately sell off all of the compliance side of my business and just transition into coaching completely, which suited me. Now, so we've kind of covered both angles. There's the angle of people that are still operating as accountants and bookkeepers. So Duncan is still doing it there. And then there's me, that for people that perhaps want to do what I did and move more into the coaching or guiding or mentoring side of things. So we've kind of got both areas covered, because not everybody wants the same thing. There's definitely everybody says negative things about compliance. It wasn't for me, but without compliance, there isn't a lot of businesses, and we need compliance to be done, because that's not going to change.
No.
The statutory accounts have to be completed. Everything has to be in place for legal reasons, and rightly so. But adding on the advisory or the coaching, guiding, mentoring, whatever term you want to use, helps you add real value with your clients, and you can dig so much deeper into the knowledge of your client's business individually, and it's more fulfilling. I found it more fulfilling to be able to really go deeper in those businesses with people, and that's what our members do.
Yeah, and I think, like from my perspective, the way I run my business is very different. So when I was working in practice, it's almost polar opposite, apart from the things that you have to do, compliance wise. But what I always find interesting talking to the Profit First members, the accountants and the coaches and the business advisors, is that you really care about your clients and you care about getting them from where they are right now, which might not be the best situation. They might be in debt. They might have all of these things going on and not know how to get themselves out of it, because let's be honest, somebody could pay, it's now £30 to open a company, but you could open a company tomorrow with no background, no training, no anything, and just head first with this technical view of, well, I know what I'm doing. I'm a carpenter, I'm a plumber, I can do that. But it doesn't mean that you have the skill set to run a successful business, price properly, all the rest of it that goes into it. So I love talking to the community from Profit First, because there's always that, I call it the fire,
I think there is this fire within, passion coming from within to help people. We see that in our members, and I think it comes from their journey that they've gone through. But what's really interesting, part of the process when they join Profit First Professionals is implementing Profit First in their own business. We've had members actually be overwhelmed with their own business, the state of their own business. And I don't mean that in a negative way, because the beautiful part of Profit First is, hey, this is where you're at. This is how you've been using your cash up to this point, but we're going to help you with that, and we're going to make it better. We're going to help you be more efficient. We're going to help you have clarity on how you're managing the cash moving forward. And it's all about being proactive and looking ahead with them. But yeah, we've even had members, be overwhelmed. We've had emotional conversations with them. But then a month or two later, the conversation is totally different in that short period of time, because they're clear on their direction and they're clear what they're doing. And because they've gone through that process in their own business, they've built a strategy out on how to help their clients. And everybody in our membership has a slightly different take on how to help their clients, which is really interesting. We don't push, you have to do it this way, you have to do it that way. You don't have to achieve the target allocation percentages as per the book, because that might not be appropriate for that particular business. So having us over here, understanding the tax system, it just helps. It just helps make it a lot more deeper and with more knowledge behind us.
And then for those that have never read Profit First,
people.
I'm sure they will after this. I'm going to put a little description, maybe a link to Amazon in here. But what are the principles? So why does Profit First differ, let's just say, from another self-help book of that kind? I don't want to really call it self-help book, because it's different, a business book. How does it differ?
I think it just changes the way you think about money. So the general concept of Profit First is to flip the formula, because we're statutory accounts will always be as they are. So we have the sales, we take off the expenses, and we're left with profit, often referred to as the bottom line. And because of the way our mind acts, the bottom line is the last thing. So we don't think about that. We think about how we can bring the sales into the business, and we focus on that, and we forget about the expenses, and we don't even think about the profit. It becomes an event at the end of the year. With Profit First, and of course, what happens from that point of perspective is that the business owner doesn't reward themselves. They make sure all the bills are paid and everybody else is paid, and they're the last person to be paid. And why that is just because we're nice people. We're trying to look after everybody else. But actually, if you want a long-term sustainable business, you need to look after yourself so that you can look after everybody else. So when you flip the formula and say sales minus profit equals expenses, suddenly it's a completely different aspect to running a business. So if you're saying these are my sales and I'm going to take this out for profit and actually move the cash out of the bank account into a separate pot for profit, what's left is what you have to run the business on. And because there's less to run the business on, you are more innovative and more creative with your thinking about how you can make the sales come into your business without spending all the money you were spending before. So it kind of pushes you into those decision-making conversations and real thought-provoking ideas of how you can improve what you're doing and be more efficient with what you're offering to your customers, whatever business that may be.
I think the interesting thing is that you can apply this to different businesses of different sizes in different industries, and
Absolutely.
ultimately get a very similar outcome. But the other element for me is that when I've dealt with business owners in the past, both when I've been in industry and in practice, you've got the one bank account and you're expected to manage the entire company on that one bank account. So you never know how much you've got aside for the purchase of machinery or repairs or new staff, or you're not breaking it down enough. And when you come to the year end, and yes, you've got your financial year end set of statutory accounts, it's happened, it's gone. So there's no planning forward and taking advantage of certain tax elements, or as you say, taking a dividend before the year end, but taking that correctly, because a lot of companies will just, directors would take money out of the company, and sometimes that's not the best from a tax point of view, but also you can end up in the red with them, and illegal dividend and all the rest of it that goes with it. So having that almost, I think it's to some regard creating simplicity in the business and understanding the numbers and understanding therefore what you can do with that. And then, as you say, if you've got a goal, a clear goal that you can stick to, that's achievable, not one of these, just set a 5-year budget that's taken us 3 months to pull together that no one really understands except the accounts department. It's not that. It's planning properly and understanding what you need to do to get to where you want to be. And I think that's the difference. So, from your own perspective, do you have any, I will put you on the spot here, Tim. Do you have any success stories that you can share with us all?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, okay. So there's a Profit First professional member who, since he joined us, he's increased his sales revenue by 100K just because he's a Profit First professional. So I can give you that one. And then I personally don't work directly with many businesses any longer. But the last one I did work with, so this is me coaching now a business, was probably about a year ago, because my time is all with our members now. But so this is a good one as well. When I started working with them, they paid their last VAT bill out of the overdraft. So their overdraft was suddenly up to the maximum. By the time they got to the next quarter, so they worked with me for a full quarter, they paid the VAT account from the VAT pot. They had money building up in a profit pot, and they were paying their own salary from the owner's compensation pot as well. So just in 3 months, we had structured that, and then their overdraft was starting to reduce. So it's just having that clear plan and the clarity on numbers, because like you said, business owners are very confident at selling what they sell and doing what they do. If it's a carpenter, doing the carpentry, yeah, first class. But when it comes to clarity on numbers, if you can move the money into different pots, you can see what that money is identified for and what that money is building up for. And at the end of the month, you can move that money then into the right area for the business.
Yeah.
Whether that be the owner's pay, the salaries, the operating expenses, and tax pots building up in the background.
I think for anyone who's watching who's a business owner, which we do get quite a lot of business owners watching, sole traders and the small limited company business owners, the difference, if you were to ask me, and I get this asked a lot, what's the difference between a bookkeeper and accountant? What's the difference between a tax advisor and such a body? So the difference is that a lot of the individuals working within the Profit First network are accountants, the coaches, the business owners themselves. And they, to some degree, they're not all accountants, are they? They've got a vast area of knowledge over many years. But the difference is, I'd say, if you want an accountant for compliance, you'll get an accountant. You'll get a year-end accountant who says, right, there's your year-end, there's your corp tax, on your way, I'll see you again next year. Difference is that if you're working with somebody in the Profit First network, you're going to get that hand-holding through the process. And if you want to make a difference in your business, a difference in the way that your goal setting is currently made out now, and also if you want to get simplicity and also know where your business is going and achieve those goals that you want, Profit First is where you need to be looking for that.
Absolutely, yeah. If anyone's watching this that hasn't read the book, I would recommend reading the book. Just recently, it's been the price has been reduced on Amazon. I don't know if it still is, but it was £12, £12.50 just recently for the hardback book, and of course, Audible's even cheaper depending on your preference. I would recommend reading the book. We don't get anything for that, by the way. That's there's no like financial implication for us. But read the book. It's the first step. And if you're really serious about moving your business forward and being long-term sustainable, working with a profit first professional is highly recommended. Our members, they sit the same side of the desk as you, if that makes sense. They don't sit opposite you and say, yeah, well done, 6 months after your year end, here's your accounts, great, you made a profit. No, the money's gone, there's no cash left, you spent it, and here's your tax bill, and off you go, it's your problem. It's not like that at all. It's okay, we dig deeper into your numbers, we identify areas to support you, and we help you, we hold your hand through the process all the way. And if things go wrong, because inevitably we live in the real world, not the ideal world, when things go wrong and there's an issue and you can't make your allocations that we would want you to make, then we help you overcome that problem. We reset and we get you moving forward again with it. And over the longer term period, taking those small steps of moving the money aside, which gradually increases, will take you where you want it to take you. And so we can help you achieve what you wanted to achieve when you set up in business, because so many people forget why they set up because they get lost, and they've ended up just creating a job for themselves, don't they, as opposed to a life.
And I think, even in my own experience, I've been running the practice for 3 years now, and honestly, I've learned more in 3 years than I have in 18, definitely. And it's not perfect. It's still things that we need to work on. But I think having that clarity that we have now has been, I don't know, I can't think what the word is, but just invaluable. Yeah. What I will say as well is, I have a lot of bookkeepers and accountants who watch this, who are looking for a change in their own business and also in a change in the offerings that they're able to provide to their clients. So if there is a bookkeeper or accountant watching and they want to be involved in the Profit First Network, how can they do that?
Yeah, it's very simple. That we've got a website, profitfirstuk.co.uk. On there, it gives you information, but there's also a form where you can express interest. That comes through to me directly into my mailbox. I'll reach out to you. We have a chat, and it'd be a very relaxed chat. We don't try and persuade anyone to join us. We need people to join us at the right time for them, the right time for us, and they have to be the right people. We're looking for people that really want to push their business forward, and as you said, have a passion for helping their clients, because that is the key part of what stands us out. Anyone who wants to find out more, just reach out to us. We're happy to have conversations with you. We've also got a Croissants and Coffee Facebook group for accountants and bookkeepers. It's free. It's free to join. We have monthly online sessions with me and Jason, our Profit First guide. We've got a Profit First book club running at the moment. So if you have read the book or you want to read the book, it's not too late to join. We're only on chapter 2 this Friday. So again, reach out to us. If you go on Facebook and search Croissants and Coffee, you'll see it's called Tim Seymour's Croissants and Coffee for accountants and bookkeepers. Just answer 3 simple questions and join.
Now, my big question for that is that on replay?
Well, we don't. The monthly online session, we tend to just run live. We don't tend to record it. We're trying to encourage people to come along. I know it clashes with other things, which is difficult, but we have to pick a time that suits, and it's just how it works, isn't it? When we have guests in, we do record those. So we have a lot of guest speakers in. In fact, Rebecca, you're on our list to come and join us at some point, by the way.
Joe, I am in my own practice. I tend to, on a Friday, I shut the practice down, and we work on the practice. So we look at fees, we look at software and integrations, what we've done right, what we've done wrong, where we can improve, all the rest of it. But I'm thinking Friday's not working out for us because there's so many things on a Friday that we want to join, like the live podcasts. There's about 3 or 4 of them on a Friday that I keep thinking, I'd love to join, but you know, obviously we're trying to do this here. So I think I need to shift up the days a bit. But
Yeah, yeah.
that's
Great to see you on our calls.
What then? You know, if you don't mind me asking, what does the next 6 months to 12 months look like for Profit First? Because everywhere I go now, you know, at Accountex and the Digital Accountancy Show, and just recently the FAB, all I ever see now or hear of is Profit First. So it seems to be on the tip of everybody's tongue.
Yeah, excellent. That's music to my ears, by the way. But yeah, no, that's fantastic. I mean, we're at the Digital Accountancy Show. We've got a stand. We're on stand E13. So anyone watching, please come and say hi. You know, again, there's no hard sell. We just want to meet you, get to know you. You go away with some value. We've got Ashley Leeds on there on the Tuesday with us all day long, so we can help you with your LinkedIn profile anyway. So you'll walk away with value. So we're there for 2 days. We're really looking forward to that. It's going to be 5 of us on the stand. So we can't wait. And we're going to get to meet everybody that we know and partner with as well, like yourselves and lots of other people. So we're looking forward to that. Later on in the year, we've got ProfitCon UK, as I mentioned earlier. And then what's happening then is we're taking new members on in cohorts. So on the 1st of June is our next intake of cohorts, then the 1st of October. And we're doing that because we've got a structured way of moving people through the certification process to get them certified first and foremost. Then we can take them through, okay, now I'm certified, now what? And that's the bit where people all need help with. So we're really focusing on that area to support people.
Oh, wow. So lots and lots in the pipeline.
It's busy. It's a busy time. And we're trying to spread the word because Profit First is successful. If you really commit to it, you will be successful. It works. Like we said, read the book, get the book, read the book, see how you get on. Something we always say when we're a guest on anything, and Mike always says this, so we kind of follow in his lead, is if you haven't done anything, if you do one thing from this call, open up a profit account, a savings account, call it profit. Every time you get money coming in from your customers, put 1% into that profit pot and then watch the money grow over a period of time. And you'll see what Profit First is all about. That's only the first step, by the way. There's lots more of the pots to open. Yeah. But if you're watching and you do nothing else, please do that. Prove to yourself it works.
Absolutely. Okay, well, I'm going to end it there because as always, I've gone over time, which is just what always happens because I get talking to a good friend and then that's it.
I could talk all day, Rebecca. It's always the same.
So if anyone wants to contact you, they can find you on profitfirstuk.co.uk.
That's it.
Also, you're on LinkedIn.
I'm on LinkedIn. Yep. Tim J. Seymour on LinkedIn. You'll be able to see me. It says quite clearly that I guide accountants and bookkeepers with Profit First. So you won't be able to miss me if you search me. I'm always on LinkedIn. So DM me through LinkedIn as well if you want to. I'm more than comfortable with that.
Perfect. And Facebook. Stand 13.
Stand E13 at the DAS show. Would love to see as many of you come up and say hi to us as possible.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Well, I'll end it there, but enjoy the rest of your day, Tim, and thank you so much for joining us on here. And I'll pop some links in the description after this to make sure that everybody can get hold of you. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you once again.
Appreciate it. Thanks very much.